Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Greg. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the moon. It's a cloudy day today. There's no sun around. I don't know, thoughts started coming towards the moon, so I decided to talk about the moon. I was checking out this book I got, The Astrology of the Seers by David Frowley. It's a really good book if anybody's really interested in getting deep into Vedic astrology and giving if you want to start giving readings, stuff like that, you can learn about it. If anybody's interested in getting a reading, you can go to greg.thunderwizard.com, and I'd be happy to give you a reading. But so yeah, I was going to talk about some of the interesting things that I read in here. And let's see, where should I start? Let's see. When it starts talking about the moon, it's saying the sun is the self, the moon is the mind, the where we got the sun is Shiva and the moon is Shakti. Together they represent the great primal duality, the masculine and the feminine, the active and passive, the mind and body, day and night, the will and the love. So yeah, the sun is more of the independent person, the really the ego. And of course we want to strive for a healthy ego. We don't want it to be off balance where you're manipulating people and really super offended in a disharmonious way when other people are questioning you, that type of stuff. And the moon, of course, too, is it's a receptive energy, and it's very passive, and it had which we get the strength of the sun to stand on our own feet. We want to have that strength of the sun. We don't want the moon to be so dominating that it really we start getting influenced by other people who may not have our best intentions in mind. The moon is very easily influenced by everything. The moon is a friend to all the planets in Vedic astrology, and I'm specifically talking about Thunder Wizard astrology. So it's really, being that it's so receptive, it's like water. Water has no shape. If it's in the same house as Saturn, we can look at Saturn as that cup, and the moon is getting poured into that cup. It's getting shaped into Saturn, so it's getting influenced by Saturn. It's getting influenced by whatever planets are with it. Like I said, because the moon is a friend to all planets. Oh, really, it's kind of more of it gets neutral with some of the planets. So it's not an enemy to any of the planets. Like with the sun, it's friends to the sun. It's really the opposite. The sun and the moon are opposite each other. And all the other planets, they have an outward expression, a masculine expression, and an inward expression, a feminine expression. Like the planet Mars, the outward expression is Aries, the inward expression is Scorpio. For Mercury, Gemini would be the what is Gemini? Gemini is the outward expression of Mercury, and Virgo is the inward expression of Mercury. And for all the planets, it's like that. Venus is Libra, and what else is it? Taurus. Taurus would be the feminine. Libra is the masculine. And with the sun and the moon, they stand on their own, but they are kind of the exact opposites of each other. Not precisely, but they are pretty much. The sun is the masculine expression, and the moon is the inward expression. So some other things I was interesting was it's talking about the afflictions to the moon show personality disorders, difficulty relating to other people, and emotional disturbances. A badly placed moon gives wrong imagination, hallucinations, and psychological turbulence. It creates lunacy, as our language reflects. A badly afflicted moon shows poor heredity, poor family background, bad education, and other traumas to the emotional nature, which can become difficult to overcome. So yeah, my moon too. My moon is in the 12th house, and the 12th house is all about imagination. It's a super spiritual consciousness, and it's originally ruled by the sign Pisces. And Pisces is a water sign, and it's a mutable sign, meaning that it's active at one point, and then at other times it can be still, And it also means that it can be easily influenced by different types of people, good or bad people, easily. It can be affected by them. And the mood swings can be back and forth, up and down. So you get the moon there too in a really watery house, and it really gives the moon that softness, that where it's easy to be shaped into other things, And for me, mostly it's I can relate to all of that, like hallucinations and psychological disorders. Um, being into drugs, that kind of stuff. Being into drugs and not really doing anything else with my life, being stagnant, not pursuing, not continuing to do my soul's greatest joy, which for me is music. If I don't really continue to be creative and stimulate my mind with music, I'm not really getting my daily medicine. That medicine is super healing to me. It's a feeling like no other. I feel so balanced. Even if I spend 10 minutes creating music, doing something, it's just an equalizer to me, to my mental state too, where it's more easy for me to be out in public and not be influenced by people who I can tell I can't really relate to them, or you know what I mean. I feel that gray energy or whatever around people, and so yeah. And as far as wrong imagination too, yeah, you could have those paranoid thoughts where you're overthinking about who people are and who are they and what's going on. And if you have your moon in your sixth house too, of enemies too. Sixth house is about enemies and opposition. It can really put you in those states of mind where you might be overthinking about people that are being confrontational with you. You might be overthinking about what they're thinking, or you might be overthinking about succumbing to fear too much, things like that. So it's important to really be aware of where your moon is and how it's like stimulating you to think in certain ways. That way, once you're aware of it, you can learn to really put your feet down and use the energy of the sun to really help you to stay stable and logical and reasonable and strong within your own mind, to not really succumb to these negative traits. And as far as like my moon is in the 12th house too, when it comes to imagination too, I can use that with great positivity, especially with music. It really can stimulate my creativity, where I start coming up with a lot of good rhythms, and I love to write. I also have a Mercury in my 12th house too, so that really stimulates my writing ability. But the moon is really super creative in the 12th house, and it's a house of the dreamer too. When you get the moon in the 12th house, it really makes a person really have a visual, spiritual dreams. And yeah, I've woken up in dreams before, and I've been able to fly. I've woken up in my home, in my room. I tried looking at I wanted to turn around and look at myself in the bed, but I never became aware of doing that. But I have like flown out through the wall. Like I went through the wall and started flying around outside. And other dreams, I become aware that I'm dreaming. Like, whoa, I'm in a dream. Let me start walking around. Let me check out what's going on. This is a trip. And I start trying to make myself levitate. In some of those dreams, I can't do it though. When I'm super conscious of I'm having a dream, I haven't been able to do that, but I'm not giving up. But I've had a dream of the Thunder Wizard's power animal, that type of stuff. I've had dreams of the deity that I do chants to, where she cleansed my energy body, and that was a really trippy experience. It really felt like that's what was really going on. And I've had that deity, she has helped me become aware of fears, different imaginary fears, like what I was talking about. I was walking in deserted places and coming across deserted villages that had huts, and I was coming across it, and I've had a whole clan of a rival clan was coming and invading the whole village. Then I would go hide in the hut, and I'd have this super fear that they're gonna come kill me. And I was looking out, and for some reason they never went to my hut to really look inside it, but I seen that they were looking in all the other huts, and I had a chance to really get away, so I finally snuck out and ran away. And That happened to me like 3 or 4 times in the dream, where I kept walking and finding these different huts, these different deserted villages. It was it was a dream, one of those dreams that seemed like it lasted like a whole day, a whole hours and hours. I don't know how long it lasted in real life. It was probably not that long. And then eventually I came across a deserted house. You know, there was just an abandoned house, and I went into it. And in real life, I had been watching some Bruce Willis, that movie Pulp Fiction that he stars in, or he stars in some of it. And in the dream, I went into that empty house, and I went into the living room, and Bruce Willis was sitting on the couch, and I went and sat on that couch. I mean, he was he was on the other end of the couch, and I sat on the other end, and I took a deep breath, and I was like, oh, finally, I found a home. This is not a hut. Let me relax. I took a big deep breath, and I looked over at him, and he was like picking out some food out of his mouth, out of his teeth. He wasn't really paying attention to me, and I was looking at him just. And eventually he stopped, and he looked back at me, and he said, "That's just the way it is, man, in life." He said something like that. I wrote it down. I got it written down, but he said something like that. It's just the way it is in life. And I woke up, and I remember I had went and talked to the Thunder Wizard about that. And he had told me basically what was going on was the deity that I do mantras to. She was showing me that a lot of my fears are really illusionary. I keep coming across these villages and hiding in these huts, and these enemies, these opposition warriors, keep invading the huts, but they never really look in the hut that I'm in. They look in everywhere else. They're looking everywhere else, and they never really go to my hut. They're running by me, and they never really. So that really is explaining that a lot of my fears are really just going on inside my head. They're not really real, true things that are really happening in my reality. When that dream was happening, I was working at a job, and I was having a lot of assumptions about who other people were and how they were dealing with me. They were dealing with me in a negative way, though. But I think I would overthink things. And I also wasn't pursuing my soul's greatest joy much during that time. So that causes my mind to really float away, where I feel like I don't have a good grip on my thoughts. They can get into those psychological disorders, if I'm not too aware of what's going on. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about is that importance of the moon, and how receptive it is, but how strong it can be, once you start really taking control, becoming aware of these challenges in the chart. You can really start to learn how to control the moon, and your medicine. Your main medicine is pursuing your soul's greatest joy. I'm finding that out more and more, even though I know it. Whenever I fall off the wagon, though, and I start taking a few steps back, I start getting back to doing my soul's greatest joy, and I start feeling really good again. And I'm still tapping into that unconscious. Finding out what's going on with me. There's certain feelings you get in the gut where my mood can change all of a sudden. And, those are afflictions. And it's really, once you start pursuing your soul's greatest joy, though, that's when you really start balancing yourself out and really learning how to deal with those things. And you feel stronger, So, yeah, that's if anybody wants a Thunder Astrology reading, that's one of the things I give to you is a deity and a mantra to give and a mantra to do to the deity. And that deity really helps you to align yourself with your soul's greatest joy. And that's what you really want to do in this life, You want to really pursue that no matter what. That's your main focus. So if anybody wants a reading, you can just go to greg.thunderwizard.com. I got a Facebook and a website too on my channel up there on the right hand corner. Or you can just click in the link right here. I'll leave a link right there. So hope you guys are doing good. Talk to you guys later. Peace.